Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this at the request of Flower Child, but really we should just talk about it anyway. So let's get started. On a weekly basis, Bitcoin has not broken structure out of this broadening wedge pattern that it has for the top here. It's actually hit the bottom, right, of this descending trend line that we have here and found some immaculate support so far. The week is young. 4 days and 19 hours left in the week. The month is young. 24 days, 19 hours left. But I have a lot of confidence that this was the low. That this flash crash, this black swan event, whatever people want to call it, just crazy whatever that happened, it might have been the reason for the dump, but I think as time goes on, people will see that it's not reason enough for the dump to continue onwards. And absolutely, we could see a lower price than our relative low here at 49.2K. Absolutely, we could. I don't think we will, but absolutely we could. From a low point here to a high point here, that was the 1272 extension that we hit at a minimum. We could go to 47.8K, 45.2K. We could go lower, absolutely. And no, the cycle would not be broken. If you look at Bitcoin for what it's worth, if we're looking at it here on these lows to lows, connecting the dots there, right, on a weekly basis, I feel like it looks better, a little bit more clean. Oh, maybe not. Right there we go. On that basis, it looks a little bit more clean. Absolutely, we could drop all the way down, next week to our 1618 and still be fine. The week after that might break the structure a little bit, but hey, that's okay. But no, we're not doing anything that's too crazy. It is crazy in a sense because we've dropped 30% in like 2 weeks time, right? Not even 2 weeks, 29.7% in 2 weeks, in not even 2 weeks time. That's definitely nuts, but this is crypto, man. That's just how it happens sometimes. If we look at the 4-hour basis, 4 hour is looking really strong right now, looking like it does want to continue to grow higher, which is nice to see. It could just be a lower high in the midst of lower highs that we have, but the 1 hour also looks really strong. 4 hour looks strong. The daily looks weak, but we did get into the oversold zone as quickly as we got out of it. It's kind of a little like dip and then a rip. Hopefully we get the rip from a high to a low point here. We have closed above the 382. The next target area would be at 61.2K to 62.8K somewhere, 61.2 to 62.8, somewhere in that area. The higher we go in the shorter amount of time, the better, but really the real target area that I'd be looking for would be based off this one's 618, which would be 59.27K, right? If we can break above this, if we can close multiple days above this, if we can close this week above the 618, that would look really, really good, okay? That would look very, very good, and I'll tell you why, okay? From any fib, whenever you're measuring extensions, right? You do your low to high or high to low. Whenever you're calculating extensions, this is kind of your expected range to hit, okay? The 1272 to the 1618. And generally speaking, with that look, if you're working your way down, you'll go here. Let's draw a random fib right here, okay? Like this, right? If we're looking to go down, what you would do is you'd hit your 1272, 1618 area, right? You'd move down somewhere in this zone, and then you would move back up and find resistance on your 886, right? Your 886 100 area, this would be resistance, and then you go lower, generally speaking, okay? That's kind of the look. You could go higher. You could go to your 786 and find resistance. You could go to your 618 and find resistance, but generally when you break out of that zone, this line here, this is kind of your last test if you want to avoid going lower, right? If you break the 618, likely this is your low, and you won't see any of these lower price actions over here. With that in mind, low to high here, you've closed above your 886, which is already outside of the expected area that you would see, right? You're finding support on this and then closing above the 886 as immediately as you did says something, in my opinion, as far as the testament of strength that goes. But we're looking at the current price closing above the 786, furthers that. Closing above the 618 at $59.27 thousand is, I think, crucial in identifying this as a low. And I really do like it as a low. I know a lot of people are hesitant to call it a low, and I get why, because we absolutely could move lower, and we could. I feel confident enough that this is the low. It's a very solid wick with a very big body with a lot of volume here on our all-time history index. If we go to the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, Crypto Fear and Greed, I'm in caps for some reason. Yesterday we hit a low, a cycle low of 17 in the extreme fear. Right, if we go to a maximum, look at this here, 17. That is the lowest that we've seen, you guys, since November of 2022. Does that sound familiar? November of 2022. We haven't seen this low of a reading since November of 2022. Well, November of 2022, for those of you who are new to this cycle and might not know, was the low of our bear cycle. Yes, the last time we saw readings as low as we had yesterday, the last time we had readings that low was all the way back here in November, right? We were actually even lower than that time there, right? Last time that we had readings that low, I guess we were in July of 2022, right? But still, nonetheless, right? Anywhere near here, the last time we saw that was at the end of the bear market. And all we've done, is we just dropped very hard in a short amount of time. You can already see that today, if we're looking at the daily, we're already back to a 29, from a 17 to a 29. I'm getting whiplash here, man. Last week we were at a 61, which is in greed. Then we hit extreme fear. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it makes sense, right? We dropped a significant amount in a very short amount of time, but I think this month of August will actually close green, as crazy as that might sound. I'm getting off trail here. I'm getting off topic. But looking at the weekly, let's just go back to looking at the RSI. Looking at the weekly RSI, bounced off the 40 last time, took us to the overbought zone. This time we did this classic thing where we bounced off the 40, found resistance at the 60. It's actually a very neutral look for the RSI. Forming a higher low, so that's not a bad look in itself, depending on how we close this week and next week. But relatively neutral RSI for what is relatively neutral price action, right? We're just in this consolidation phase, right? We haven't broken out of it yet, so we're waiting on that. What would give me hope that we move upwards and break out to the upside is closing above 59.3K, right? That's what the target area is, 59.3, low to high here. Yeah, 59.27K. Closing up above there would be a very strong indication, validation that is the low and that we're moving higher. That doesn't mean that we're going to move up higher immediately, but I don't really know what else to say, guys. I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I'm going to end the video, I guess, right there. I feel like there was something else that I wanted to go over, but I can't remember what it is. Shorter term time frames are looking good. Daily time frame looks terrible. Weekly time frame looks neutral, and then monthly time frame looks bullish as hell, of course. Let's just see how we do over the coming week. I feel very, very comfortable with the markets. It's intense whenever we're down there, but hey, man, it's a little bit easier to breathe with this big of a wick on the week. Let's see how high we can get this wick to go. By the end of this week, we have about 4 days and 20 hours left. Maybe we can even get this week to close green, and I think that would be a really strong indication of the coming price gains that we have over the weeks and months to come to close out the year. So anyways, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The bull market is not done. It's not dead. We've got a lot to go, you guys, and I don't think Bitcoin's going to stop until it at least hits 173K, at least. And then by the end of the cycle, I mean, maybe that's where we are. Maybe we're all the way up at 500K. Like, genuinely speaking, that could be a likely target. And I've been calling for 460K or higher for over a year now, and that hasn't changed even with this recent drop. So get the cryptos while they're cold, man. Get them while they're cold. They're best served cold, and they're best sold hot, right? You want to sell them when they're hot. You don't want to eat them up when they're hot. You want to eat them when they're cold. Get your bib, your fork, and your knife on right now. Prime prices around the space. Yes, even with this recent move up, right? From a low point to the current price, we moved up 16% versus Bitcoin, which is probably like 30% across the rest of the market. Even with that, it's a prime area to buy. So I'm going to end it there. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.